Yeah, a little bit. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the SixpackLab. This is your host, Jonny Catanzano. We are here on episode 3 of our podcast, and we've got another special guest here today. Today we have Taylor Loyd, local gym owner here in Austin, Texas. And we're also, of course, going to go over the latest in health and fitness news. And another segment we're going to start today actually is called Gym Fail Fixes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to analyze some videos, and we're just going to help some people out. That's what we're here for. We want to be giving, and we want to be helping all the time. It is going to be fun. It is going to be exciting. But most importantly, we also want to make sure people learn. You excited?
I'm always excited.
Okay, good. Well, I was making sure we're alive over here. First, we're going to talk about the latest in health news. First article we have here, pulled these off of CBS News. The first article we've got is controlling blood pressure may help ward off dementia. Mental health obviously being a very hot topic in pop culture, news, media, social media, that sort of thing. I found this article quite interesting. Basically, the article, they did a study. It was the U.S. National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. They used MRIs to scan the brains of hundreds of patients with high blood pressure. So all in all, there was 9,300 people involved over the age of 50. And the idea was that they were just trying to figure out if certain lifestyle conditions, either sedentary lifestyle, poor lifestyle, or obviously weight gain, body composition issues, body fat issues, that sort of thing, can have any correlation or any sort of relation to developing some sort of dementia, basically your brain function, that sort of thing. So what they found is people that got intensive control of their high blood pressure showed a slowing accumulation of certain lesions. So there's these things called lesions called white matter. And white matter is basically saying that there's big changes happening deep inside the brain. Mm-hmm. So basically you don't want that, essentially. And so what they're saying is people with high blood pressure, they develop more of these white lesions, and they found that there were less of them and with people who got intensive treatment, meaning if let's say their blood pressure was 150, they were trying to get under 120. So 120 over 80 being the normal number. Obviously, the systolic is the 120. Standard treatment only gets them down to 140. So for the average person, somebody who is probably under 140, they may still be on prescriptions. They may still be having some lifestyle intervention, trying to lose weight, that sort of thing. But clearly, if you can get it down under the 120, it's saying they actually had a percentage. I think it was like a 13%, 15% lower risk of developing dementia or some sort of issues with cognitive function. So the next step, they said, this is a sign that they need to do more research with this. Essentially, there's not that much research going on with it, but it's something that, in my opinion, my thoughts on the situation are this is another sign that maybe drugs aren't always the first answer.
Yes.
So a little 100%. A little bit of lifestyle intervention. A lot of people, they go to the doctor, and we hear this a lot because we have right now, I think in our system, we have, like, in our lifetime of SixPack Abs, we've got almost 2 million customers between phone customers and email customers. So we've talked to a lot of people over the years, and that's one of the most common things we hear is that, because we always ask, that's the first thing we ask is age, height, weight, what medical conditions you have, that sort of thing. And a lot of people will be very transparent because obviously health is important. If you're looking at changing your nutrition or exercise, you want to be transparent. But that's the first thing they say is, I went to the doctor and then they put me on a statin, or they put me on this or whatever. So, and I understand there's 100%, there's definitely certain situations if you have chronically high levels, if it's hereditary, that sort of thing, lifestyle intervention might not be enough, and you might need that sort of thing. But for a lot of people, I think lifestyle intervention can really help. So all in all, this is clear that if you do not check your blood pressure, if you're not managing it, it doesn't matter how old you are, you should be checking at least every few months. Younger people, every couple months, I'm sure you're fine. But us, I'm about to be 35. No, level 35. I know. God, man. Do you know I graduated high school in 2002? Does that sound as old as it sounds to me?
2002. Damn, I don't even know what I was doing.
I have vintage shirts that were in 2002.
No, don't tell me. No, we're gonna move on. Anyway, so back to the
I was like 7 or 8 in 2000.
So, but anyways, you want to, and that's as I'm getting to this age, and that's when you go like a guy when you go to visit when you're visiting him, as you get in like 25 versus 30 and versus 35, you're having different conversations. So now,
I don't know.
Yeah, but so the conversation now is obviously as you're getting into your 30s and then down towards 40s, and you need to be checking this type of stuff. And especially if it can have a detrimental effect to your brain function and possibly developing like an Alzheimer's or dementia or something, definitely to be considered, right?
Right.
Okay. Moving on. Next article, live longer by eating apples and drinking tea every day, and eating a couple blueberries every day helps ward off cardiovascular disease. I found 2 articles that were slightly correlated, but both interesting. Okay. Do you eat fruit? Do you eat vegetables?
No. Yes.
Okay.
No.
So a little bit, not too much fruit, but lots of veggies?
No. Not
okay.
a lot.
Not a lot. Mostly protein?
Mostly
carbs. Protein, carbs, and protein.
Carbs.
The good carbs, right? Yeah. Well, good. Well, maybe you'll learn a little bit from the article then too. So
yes, please keep going.
Okay. So researchers at Edith Cowan University School of Medical and Health Sciences studied diet data for more than 53,000 Danish citizens over 23 years. Now, this is the article, the live longer by eating apples and drinking tea every day. Essentially, what they found was out of that sample of the 53,000 people, they found a much lower risk of developing some sort of cancer or heart disease. This is what I kind of found was funny. And the reason is because of flavonoids. So flavonoids is kind of the theme here of both of these articles, and they're contained in fruits and vegetables. But they said this protective effect was the strongest for those with high risk of chronic diseases because of smoking cigarettes and drinking more than 2 alcoholic beverages a day. So, yeah, clearly. So what are they doing in that country? Jeez.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. So now the other article, researchers recruited 138 overweight and obese people between ages of 50 and 75 with metabolic syndrome, a condition that significantly boosts one risk of heart disease. Now, that term is very loosely thrown around quite a bit. There are specific things that you need to have in order to be considered actually having a metabolic syndrome, and you have to have at least 3 of the following risk factors: high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the weight, low levels of good cholesterol, and high levels of triglycerides. So your doctor is going to be talking to you a little bit. So you're going to be in that case. What they found, now this is also interesting. What they found was eating 1 cup of blueberries per day resulted in sustained improvements in vascular function and arterial stiffness, making enough of a difference to reduce cardiovascular disease by between 12 and 15%. So definitely some weight to that. Now, this was noted in the article. Interestingly, no change with half a cup. Got to be 1 cup. I swear, I'm dead serious. It's got to be 1. So,
Gotta be 1.
All right, now let's talk about why that may be. Now, what this tells me is...
Where does the tea come into play?
Yeah, so tea was one of... That's a great question. It was one of the...
And what kind of tea? There's like 17 million.
Flavonoids. They all have different... There's different kinds of flavonoids, and different teas have different levels, different fruits, different vegetables have different levels. There's quite a different kinds. They named a few of the common ones, but it was a really long word. Even for me, I was just like, no, I'm not even trying. Flavonoids give fruit and vegetables the color. Like
okay.
I was going to ask you what that meant. I'm like, I'm pretending I know what that means.
Google. What
Google.
does?
I literally have it up right now.
Okay, good. Well, that's why you're here, Ray. So I think the grand theme from this should be not necessarily that you have to eat just blueberries in 1 cup a day or just drink tea and eat 1 apple a day. I think you should have a balanced diet with a array of fruits and vegetables.
Colorful.
There's a quote here from one of the doctors. It's important to consume a variety of different flavonoid compounds found in different plant-based food and drinks. This is easily achievable through the diet. 1 cup of tea, 1 apple, 1 orange, 100 grams of blueberries, and 100 grams of broccoli would provide a wide range of flavonoid compounds at over 500 milligrams.
That sounds better.
That sounds better. That sounds a little bit more normal. Yeah. So clearly the research is pointing towards, okay, we should probably be having fruit and vegetables. So, Taylor, you going to eat some fruits and vegetables now?
Yes.
Okay, good. I like hearing that. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. For me, I think fruit especially gets a very bad rap. I think that there's a lot of misinformation out there. Now, if it's personal preference for your palate or the texture or whatever,
Right.
absolutely. Or price, or you don't have access to it, whatever. But there's people out there literally saying that fruit makes you fat. And I mean, that just literally hurts my heart, man.
Yeah. And also, like, fruit isn't really keto, right?
Well, no.
That's what threw me off.
No, well, so keto and fruit, two kind of like separate things.
Yeah.
So keto being in ketosis is manipulated by controlling the ratio of macronutrient intake, essentially starving the body of carbohydrates. So true ketosis, you're only eating 5% or less, which is extremely, if you really try to do keto, you're hardly eating any vegetables. You're eating a lot of nuts and oils and heavy fat foods. Now there's modified keto. Maybe you're at 10% carbs or 15% carbs. You can still produce ketones at that level. So people doing true keto probably can't have fruit, and it just because it's going to throw your ratios off. But if you can still do a modified keto and still produce ketones and still receive the benefits, adding in some blueberries, but you're going to be at higher. It's not going to be true keto.
It's more like low carb.
Correct. So, but anyways, but the thing is, people think that. And it's like the eating before bed. They think that makes them fat. It's only going to make you fat if you're going over on your total calorie consumption per day and you're putting yourself in a calorie surplus.
Doesn't matter what time you eat.
Like, yeah, it does not matter. Right now, I mean, I'm eating like pineapple and strawberries and blueberries and protein literally like 10 minutes before I go to bed. Because I try to eat as close to bed as I can so I don't wake up hungry. But anyway, so fruit's getting a bad rap, but I thought these were some interesting articles that clearly show you should have a wide variety of fruit and vegetable intake in your diet. All right, let's get on to gym fails to fixes.
Oh, we're going to start off with the fails right away?
Let's go into it, man.
All right, let's just do it.
Yeah.
I got some from IG on here.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to put it on this screen, and then I'll also...
yes, this one I enjoyed.
All right, let's go ahead and play this.
Let's go ahead and get it going. All right, we got a guy here. He has a barbell suspended by what looks like
Are those TRX?
I think it's TRX or maybe moving straps. Maybe come-alongs are what those are. He's now under the barbell, and there he goes.
What was the end goal?
That's Taylor. That's why I wanted to ask you. Was he trying to learn? Well, no. Well, because you do CrossFit, you guys do a lot of snatches. Was he possibly trying to learn how to do a snatch? Because you're right. What the fuck was the end goal here? He pulls it like up over backwards towards his head, and he looks behind him at first too.
He's like, no one's there.
He almost took out his buddy.
Dang.
Do you think he was trying to?
It looked like he almost was jumping back, which. I mean,
maybe an Olympic move or something. Like what was?
I don't know. He could have. I don't.
Or do you think he was trying to like pull it back behind his head and then just like hold it there?
Bless his heart.
I know. I feel
and
bad.
He had a friend.
Yeah.
So first of all, this guy's telling him, "Okay, sure."
Yeah, this is good. Let's go with
like,
this.
hey, bro,
and put one more strap on it though.
And then I'm gonna sit behind you.
Yeah. And then he laughs at him. And then he laughs at him. This is the best. I would love to know where the gym is. I would love to know the guys. I would like to come meet them and talk to them a little bit.
Bring them here.
So, Taylor, if
someone puts CrossFit, see, that's why CrossFit gets a bad rap.
I know.
You're not in a Globo gym doing CrossFit for one.
You can't. So if a person, I'm just going to assume he was trying to learn Snatch. What should you do to learn a Snatch? Shouldn't you use like a PVC pipe at first or something a lot smaller and lighter?
I've never met someone that taught themselves how to snatch.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, honestly, 70% of people don't even have the mobility unless they've been doing some kind of overhead, for a good bit, especially males. The overhead position, it ain't happening.
I can barely do it. I can do an overhead squat with like 135, 150 pounds, but it's a task. 2 or 3 years ago, not a chance. My shoulders, there's not a chance. But you're right. I mean, it takes an incredible. But what? So what would they do? What would somebody?
You would go to a gym and ask for
somebody help.
So even at our gym, we make them go through an elements. It's called elements, basically like a prerequisite, and PVC pipe just to see if they can even go overhead.
That's smart.
And then before we even let them touch a barbell.
Okay, good.
Like some of our ladies and even guys are still at a 35, 45, 50, like 65 pounds. Like we just don't. There's no reason. If you can't do it, we're not going to force you to get in a position that you can't get in.
Right. And I mean, if you're not maybe going to be in a competition, or if you're not really trying to get to a certain level, is there, what's the benefit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of controversy there too, but and this is always, this is always my opinion. Unless someone comes to us and they're just dying to learn how to snatch, there's really, I mean, sure, there's no reason to learn how to snatch really heavy unless you're going to compete.
That's a good answer. I like that. I can appreciate that. A lot of people might think, or the stereotype is people that, let's go do CrossFit, and they go right in the gym and they just start throwing shit around. And maybe there probably are some people that do that, but it is good to, because I train out of Taylor's gym. I train a couple personal clients, but I love your gym, and I'm happy to see how much, because I watch you guys and how much time and care you take watching over your clients, because that's clearly a little bit more risky or dangerous than going to Globo Gym or going to Gold Gym or whatever and getting on the elliptical or whatever thing. I can see the fun in it, though. And I've done CrossFit workouts, and it is fun. And it is, once you do get a particular weight over your head, you do get that sense of satisfaction. It's like, all right, that's pretty badass. Right?
Yeah. I mean, yes. We're just very into body awareness and moving efficiently and being in good positions. Like and it's hard having a class of people that watch competitive CrossFit, and they're like, okay, we want to do that. It's like, okay, but you have to learn how to do this first.
Yeah, right.
And so
there's steps to it, right?
It's hard.
There's levels to the shit.
Yes.
Okay. So, we might as well just kind of move into it now. So you mentioned the gym. What is the name of your gym?
It is Iron Greenhouse, but we are looking to change the name, which I know people tell us it's bad business, but we don't care.
You do what you want. It's your gym, right?
We want, Greenhouse. We just jumped into it. We wanted a name that stood for strength and growth. And to us, we were in a hurry, kind of, and we just wanted to get stuff on paper, got to get an LLC. So we just ran with Iron Greenhouse.
You have to make decisions.
But now that we've been in the gym and with clients and talking about the gym, everyone always asks us if it's actually a greenhouse or if we sell plants. We've had people come by and be like, "Y'all sell plants?" We're
No way.
Oh, no, we have membership.
I bet they are super bummed rolling up, and there are no ferns and fescues.
I asked them, I was like, what did you, when you saw Iron Greenhouse, they're like, we thought it meant strong plants. And I was like, cool.
Noted.
Colton, we're going to change the name of the gym. So.
And Colton is the other owner, right?
Yes.
And that's your boyfriend, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. How long you guys had the gym?
We've had the gym for 2 years.
2 years. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. And you are from where?
Here
in Texas.
Born and raised.
All right. And you are how old? How young? What level?
24.
Level 24? Come on.
Okay, I'm 31.
Okay. Not too far behind me, ladies and gentlemen. All right. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm 24, actually.
You shush your mouth over there, Ray.
You'll be here soon.
Okay. So from Texas, 31 years young. And now the gym, you've had it for 2 years. Let's talk a little bit about the process of starting it, because I do remember. I mean, we've known each other for a while, but I do remember when I was like super like, dude, that's pretty cool, because that's a long-term goal of mine, is to eventually get owed a gym of some sort, some nature. And your guys' gym would primarily be considered a CrossFit gym, or
we can't. So for a CrossFit affiliate, so if you see a gym called CrossFit something, they're an affiliate.
You have to pay for that.
So they paid to be able to put CrossFit.
Yeah.
So for us, it was like. It has its benefits, because now if someone Googles CrossFit gyms in Austin, our gym will not come up, because we're not allowed to have the word even in our description.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we can't. They will fine us.
Quick question: is Reebok profiting off that?
I have no idea.
Okay, somebody named CrossFit is profiting on that. I would imagine Reebok's getting some.
What's the synonym for cross? You'd be like something fit.
Functional fitness.
Functional fitness.
Yeah. Okay. Basically, the definition of CrossFit is high intensity functional blah 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 something. So we literally took the definition. We just can't use the word CrossFit.
And that's more the brand CrossFit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay.
But so we actually run 2 programs. So half of it is quote unquote CrossFit, and half of it is a traditional strength, because I wanted to appeal some people don't want to learn to snatch, some people don't want to learn to jerk, and some people don't want to do gymnastics.
Right.
And so I'm there to catch them and tell them that you don't have to.
Yeah,
you know?
there's a lot of other stuff to do.
I'm much better. I'm a terrible CrossFit coach. I'm a okay CrossFit athlete. I'm not good at CrossFit coach. I'm good at traditional strength and conditioning and bodybuilding type of stuff. That's my jam.
They're very specific.
And
they're completely different
Colton
specificities.
is a wonderful CrossFit coach.
I've seen him in action. Yeah, he can definitely coach it up.
Great at the other. So we just
Great team.
get better. We let each other do what we're good at, and it works out.
What were you doing before you had the gym?
So we were renting space.
Okay.
So I originally
You're training people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've been training. So I've actually never had another job.
Just
been training people since I was 19.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
My first job was in a
little bit of street
gym.
cred.
It's
Boxing gym.
a boxing.
That's
gym.
right. I forgot. Yeah, you can kick ass too.
Oh man, she got a mean
Yeah.
hook
I
and
know.
everything.
I know.
That was
Yeah.
my first job. Was a boxing gym teaching class, and then Chance, the guy, he let me. He was like, "Look, you want to do PTs?" And I was like, "Sure." He was so awesome though, because he would shadow me, and he let some lady there that was there. It was free for her. He shadowed me and watched me how I would approach doing a PT, and
Really?
she knew what was going on.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I would say, "This is what we're gonna do," and he would watch. And if I messed up, he'd stop me and say, "No, look, this is how look at her knees. Why would we coach her to squat this way? Let's do this." And so then he would explain to me, and that's how I learned how to coach.
Yeah.
Always hands on. I didn't have a certification until I was 25.
So the School of Hard Knocks. I mean, that's field experience.
Yeah.
I mean,
tons.
I have tons of certifications. To be honest, the field experience is 10 times more valuable. 1,000%. The certifications are great, and you learn a lot, and you know the terminology and all that crap. But there's nothing like being hands on. It's not the same.
And you can watch a coach. When we were when I worked at CG, and we'd have coaches come in, you can tell someone that's worked with people, because it's different to read about it. But then when you get in front of someone and you have 3 people in front of you and you have to coach them all differently, you can just tell the difference between someone that's worked with people and someone who's read books.
Absolutely.
Not taking away from who's read books, but
Absolutely.
I like college. That's how college is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, somebody might come out with an engineering degree, but you put them in a position where they're supposed to be analyze structures of buildings, and they've got guys that have been on the job sites for 30, 40 years, and they're supposed to listen to a guy like your age. It's like,
bro, relax.
Quit the B. Come on, dog. So, okay, that's awesome. Now, when did you realize that owning a gym was a goal, or was there any coming to Jesus moment, I got to own a gym, or
no? I mean, I remember being really young when I was I think 22, and I was working. I forgot. I was working for my stepdad, doing some church stuff or whatever. And I used to draw. I wish I could find it. I drew out what my dream gym would look like. I wish I could find it.
That would be super cool.
It was like a lifetime when I drew it. It looked like it was like a whole smoothie and clothes and manicures, and not that I would ever do that now.
Bougie gym.
Yeah,
No
it was
kidding.
like straight up lifetime.
That's interesting. That's crazy, because that's Tiger Woods. They found a drawing that Tiger Woods drew when he was in 3rd or 4th grade or something, of a perfect golf hole or something. So you're Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, y'all.
And
Tiger.
so then then I didn't think that I wanted to own a gym, and so I started working for Camp Gladiator as their head trainer in group fitness. And I loved group fitness.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicked that I don't hate it. I don't love PTs as much as I love group.
One-on-one.
It's just,
Yeah.
it's exciting. It's awesome. It's
Super energizing.
People get more pumped up, and it's just a lot more fun, and it's a lot more cost efficient for people. And
It is.
I mean,
It is. You can drop it in class for $15, $20, $25.
instead of asking for $65 an hour, whatever it is, a lot of people can't afford that.
Right, right. And so you guys do one-on-one and group, or is it mostly one-on-one?
It's mostly group.
Okay.
We have.
But if somebody wanted one-on-one, you guys probably
Yeah.
wanted it.
Yes, we
Yeah.
do, but
Okay.
we just don't have a lot of time. But that's why group is just awesome.
Yeah. And you guys said you operate a little bit differently than a normal gym?
Yeah, so we didn't plan on it.
Right.
It's just the way that it happened. And again, we just got super fortunate with how everything happened. Me and him had been coaching in Austin for a long time, both of us. So we each had our name out there. And we got tired of gym hopping and paying rent. And here in Austin, it's just everywhere's expensive.
Yep.
I mean,
It sure
at
is.
one place, we were both paying rent, plus if we had PTs, we paid a percentage of each PT, and then I paid a percentage of who was ever taking our class.
Yep.
It was almost equaling like $1,000 each, somewhere like that. And the more we grew, the more money they wanted. So we finally were just like, screw it.
Yeah.
Let's just start looking. So we started looking. We opened a gym. Taylor decided that she wanted the bigger space instead of the smaller space, which if I would have talked to someone, they would have said, hey, start small, get big.
Right.
And I was like, I'm going big.
You were hungry.
We're doing it.
Yeah, let's go.
So we did it, and then we were like,
all out.
Was it like a warehouse or something?
yep, it's huge.
It's huge.
It was 6,300 square feet.
Yeah,
for our
huge.
first
Like
gym.
the ceilings were what, 20, 25 feet high. Like
nice.
It's awesome space, but a little big.
It was too big, and one thing we learned is we did not want to do a 5:30, a 6:30, a 7:30, an 8:30, a 9, a noon.
Yeah,
Because then that's
classes.
just, and you basically have classes with either 1 or 0 people in it for years until they grow.
Yeah.
So we just kind of we just sat back and let people come to a time that made it fit. And so that's why we have a 6 p.m. and a 6:30, and we have a 6 a.m.
Yep.
And so we haven't had one person come in and say, man, I'm not going to join your gym because you don't have a time that
Works.
we just haven't. So
most people work. Realistically, how many people work out at 2 p.m?
I was about to say, and so for us, it is so hot, no one's going to come at noon.
Austin, Texas is brutal for a few months of the year. And I know there's a lot of hot places in this country, but it's a burner. It's really humid too. So, but
it's pretty hot.
After a couple hours, I mean, even in the mornings right now, it's it's still pretty warm in there.
Yeah.
So you guys actually just moved just right next door.
So
the new place is awesome.
We got a smaller space, more cost efficient. It lets us relax a little bit instead of us running around handing out flyers and blah 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 blah, putting stuff on people's cars and
trying to grow the membership. Yeah,
just
let it grow
stressing
organic.
about it.
Yeah.
So we downsized, and it has been literally life changing.
The new space is smaller, but it is way cleaner looking and modern looking. It's got
more
big windows in it. The other place had no windows. It was just a big dungeon.
It has that. It has a big cement wall, so it makes it just looks a lot cleaner.
It does. It almost kind of looks like it's in a loft or something.
Yes.
Where is it? Where is it?
It is off Lamar, so it's right where 35, 183, and Lamar all meet.
Okay.
Your local Yellow Rose. You got any Yellow Rose goers?
Yep. Oh, for sure. No, I know the vicinity.
That's everyone's like, yes. I mean,
yeah, right.
so Yellow Rose is a very popular strip club in Austin, if you don't know.
Yeah.
So every time I
Very
say Yellow
popular.
Rose, everyone's like, oh yeah. I mean, I've driven by it.
I've seen it. I've seen it. Thank you.
But it's right down the road underneath the highway from Yellow Rose.
Yeah,
so
it's Powell Lane, right?
Powell Lane.
And then you guys have a website that they can go to if they want to look you guys up, right?
IronGreenhouse.com.
IronGreenhouse.com, and then an IG.
Then Instagram is IronGritATX, which that's the name that we think we're going to change.
The possible name change, which I do like that, by the way. I did notice that. I thought that was pretty cool. Let's talk just a little bit briefly about getting into it, the setup. Did you guys have to get bank loans? Did you have family members that helped out? Because, if you watch Shark Tank and if you watch any of these big businesses, there's a lot of ways to get money. They go through rounds, they raise money. A lot of people they're called angels, or they get gifted or family, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then bank loans, obviously. What did you guys have to? Did you use? And then obviously your savings. So what did you have to use?
So I love talking about this because we have such a unique story. We have not taken one loan out for the
That's awesome. That's sick. That really is.
for the entire
That's legit.
assault bikes, rowers, rigs, turf, everything. We didn't take a single penny out. I actually worked my ass off for
Good for you.
8 years in my savings to $26,000 and dumped it.
That's it.
The entire thing.
That's the American dream. That's awesome.
Dumped
Mad
it.
respect for that.
And then Colton did the same, and then we had a family member that I mean, you can call it a loan, but it's not a bank loan.
Right.
But we paid him back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Family loan.
He helped at the very
Family or
end
friend loan.
to finish off
That's awesome.
everything else, and then
So that helps definitely keep that overhead down.
I can't. It's just the way I've always been. I can't owe people like it just stresses me out.
Yeah,
I
for
can't
real.
imagine being on a $40,000 bank loan with interest, and I just can't.
And then not making any profit for like the first 3, 4, 5 years.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
Yeah.
We haven't taken a paycheck.
Yeah.
Nope.
And that's what makes it tough, but that's the beauty of being an entrepreneur. And then now that you're experienced and you're starting to make the minor adjustments, like, okay, we learned this. Yeah, we don't need that. Yeah, we do need this.
Right.
Then the
Exactly.
profit starts to come.
Yeah.
And the fact that you don't have, that's the thing, is you don't have bank loans. Like, people start finally making profit after 3 or 4 years. It's like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That
we have
goes to the loan.
Yeah. Exactly.
The loaner.
Uncle Sam and 2.
Yeah, and the tax man. That's impressive. Very, very cool. Now, what about the equipment? Did you guys just like go to a gym store, or was some of it used?
So Fringe is
Fringe Sport.
Fringe
Yeah,
is like
they're local here in Austin.
Austin's Rogue.
Austin's
I guess.
Rogue, yeah.
So
A
we
little bit
went
cheaper
there.
though, in my opinion. A little bit
They
better.
are. Well, they were awesome because we bought so much at one time. They gave us a great deal. They delivered it. They're still awesome.
That's great.
We bought, I think, almost everything from Fringe.
The rowers and the air bikes
Yep.
and everything.
Do they
That's
maintain equipment too, or?
Like maintenance stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do they have to come in and do that, or do you guys have to do that?
No, we have to do that. It's
Okay.
really not too. If you take care of it and you vocalize to your clients like, "Hey, don't treat this like crap,"
Yeah.
the assault bikes kind of fall apart. But
Yeah.
for the most part,
They get a lot of use.
yeah, they do.
Okay. That's a really interesting story, not having to get a bank loan. How'd you find the location?
We had a real estate agent helping us out, and we
Okay.
just looked, and we finally found a place. It was like 82 cents a square foot, which is the cheapest that we found, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is it. This is it. And so the day after we signed the lease, we were like putting, whatever, we were in there, and a cop drove by, and he was like, hey, are y'all okay? We're like, yeah. And I was like, why is there a cop here? And I was like, Colton, what did you do? He was like, nothing. And so the cop was like, no, we just want to make sure you're okay. This is a really hard area. And I was like, He was like, this is a rough area. So is this going to be a gym? We're like, yeah, yes. And he was like, all right, so see down left, wouldn't go that way.
Yep. Go
Ever.
the right.
We were like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, that's why it was cheaper.
That's where the bus stop is, down the left. I come in and I'll train some people really early at like 6:30 or 7:30. There is always some people at that bus stop. It doesn't matter what time of day. It doesn't matter if it's a weekend or Monday. There's some characters out there.
Oh, if they have clothes on, it's a good thing. Like usually it's a situation.
I feel like Austin's much better than a lot of other cities, though.
Yeah, for sure. Austin's not too bad. We have some weirdos, but you can appreciate them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't had any like serious run-in.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
No.
Nobody actually. It's in an industrial park. It's like a nice.
Yeah.
Once you're in the parking lot, it's
Yeah.
like it looks normal. But yeah, if you go down that road he's right to the left. It's a little.
It's rough.
I do want to try those No-No's tacos. Are those any good? There's always somebody at that place.
At the gas station?
Yeah, next to the gas
Oh,
station.
they've got Saturday. It is an event.
I'm telling you, I've like, they have to have good food. There was like 30 people out there. I drove by there. Gonna have to check that out. So you not only own a gym, but you've also recently started getting into clothing recently.
I am dabbling. It was a
Okay.
hobby that just kind of got bigger.
Okay. And what's it called?
Rebel Co.
Rebel Co. And you guys you have a website?
I do. It is shoprebel.co.
Okay. How'd you get into it?
Accident.
Just
I started doing it for myself.
making your own clothes,
Making
and
my own.
your own
and-
flair. You've always
and
had some good flair.
Everyone always kept asking where I got it. And I was like, I made it. I made it. I'm like, well, if I sent you 5 shirts, can I do it?
There it is. Up there.
Yeah, if I
very
sent you 5 shirts,
That's
pretend-
nice website.
whatever. Thanks, I made it.
You did?
See how I said I wasn't techie?
You lied to me.
I didn't.
Damn.
You lied.
No, this is
Websites are expensive.
Yeah, I know.
That's a good website. That's good looking. Good looking
pretty
product
good.
there. So how do you hand make everything?
I do. So I find the shirts, which Austin is really awesome for. We have a lot of vintage and thrift stores.
And that's where you locate
and
all
so
these.
I find most of them there, and then I distress them and bleach them, and then I started printing my own because I
Okay.
loved just, I don't know. It just, I started
So
getting
you have
into
some
it.
of both?
So I have a friend that prints, and she was like, you should just do it. So I started printing my own.
That Guns N' Roses one, I'm all over that.
I know. It is
Also, your Death Row one is very.
One's tight.
I'm definitely peeping it when you came. I was like,
Yeah.
She got more swag than I do. I definitely look like Dad compared to her now. She said, "You look like you're in your dad clothes today." I was like, "I'm in my golf shirt."
Golf shirt. Well,
She's like, Dad's golf.
That's
like, yeah, I know. So now the people can go. They can order right off the website, right?
Yeah. So it's a little different because I don't have stock, because I don't, the shirts that I print, I have stock, but like the vintage shirts and the shirts that I find, there's only one.
So
once
first
it's
come,
gone,
first serve.
Yeah, it's a first come, first serve.
Different prices for different pieces.
Once it's kind of, if I find one I love and it was more expensive, then I have to price it up. But they're usually around $30 to $35.
So a good price.
Which,
okay, that's great.
I
You go to
know.
LA, that shit would be $250.
Oh, it's
Exactly.
unreal.
Jesus,
Like
that's
one of those
awesome.
Kanye shirts.
And this is this mostly is this mostly female or unisex, male, both?
It started off just female,
Okay.
and then I finally had some guys that would wear them, and so they started wearing them, and it's been really cool to see guys
I want
do
one
it.
for the gym. Can you cut? I want like a big.
I have one guy in New Jersey that always asks me to cut his shirts for the gym. It's
I want
awesome.
a big neck cut and with some like something gangster. I'll trade you. I make bracelets. I'll trade you. We'll trade.
T-shirts for
Crafting.
bracelet.
You got to craft. Fit people craft hard. We have other hobbies.
Like we do other things.
We do other
I
things.
promise.
Yeah. So okay. Now you've competed a little bit in CrossFit.
I have.
Wanted to ask a little bit about that. Now you actually recently, and I was there because I went to check out Bernie, my
But
cousin.
you didn't see me.
I didn't see you compete. I saw one of the events. I think he did a similar event you did, and it looked really tiring. But you ended up winning, and it was like a different higher division, right?
It was an amateur division. So
Okay.
at the Fittest Experience, it's not a sanctioned event. So
Okay.
sanctioned events are your ticket to the games now.
Okay.
So before, it was like any other sport. There was the open, and then there's regionals, and then there's the games.
Okay.
So they nixed regionals, and so they have sanctioned events where if you go to that sanctioned event and you get a top score, you get a ticket to the games. This is
okay.
not a sanctioned event.
Okay.
But it's a higher competition. It was my first one to do as an individual.
And there was a lot of people from Texas and surrounding states, right?
Yeah, a lot of people travel to
Yeah.
come to this competition.
There was a lot of people there, and
it's a
some
big one.
pretty impressive physiques, and looked like some fit damn people.
Oh, it was my first indie, so I toned it down, and I didn't want to do pro. I was just introducing myself to being an individual. It's just so different than team.
Okay.
And
the difference is the weights you have to lift at
The
some of
weight-
the events.
actually, yeah, I think the only difference was the weight.
Okay.
It's just a little bit heavier. And then like rope climbs, for me, it was with legs. For the pro, it was legless.
Oh, so just minor differences.
Very
makes
minor.
It makes it harder
Yes,
for them, though.
yes.
Okay. And when was your first competition?
A year after CrossFit. So I started, and then a year later, I went to regionals on a team.
Okay.
I actually qualified as an individual.
For the games?
Mm-hmm.
What did you go?
I qualified as an individual for regionals.
Oh, to go to regionals, and then if you
Yes.
would have done well there, then you go to the games.
Yes.
But regionals is still a pretty big deal too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's like not just Joe Blow gets to go to that.
No.
Hey, that's
It's-
badass. Well,
it was-
congratulations. So you did the team and the individual with that.
So I only did team. So you
Okay.
have to pick.
Oh.
So when you qualify,
Can't do both?
no.
Okay.
So when you qualify, you have to choose. Do you want to go individual, or I can deny it and go on a team? And so I had already committed to team.
Yeah.
And so I went team.
Okay. That's
It was
cool.
a blast.
How'd you guys do? And where was it?
We got 9th.
That's good. Top 10.
We
Where
were
was it?
that was all of our, so we were all rookies. So
Okay.
every person on the team was a newbie to even competing.
Right.
It was awesome.
That's cool.
It was a blast. And I'm thankful because it was the last regionals ever.
Yeah. Really? So that
Yep.
was
We
kind
got
of,
to
now
be
they
at the
changed
last
the way they
yep.
did it. Very cool. And future plans, keep competing? Any other shows, competitions?
I don't know. I'm doing local competitions, so I'm doing Iron Bell for fun, which is like
Okay.
a girls comp.
Okay.
And then I'm doing a team.
Probably good for promoting the gym and your coaching
Yeah,
and the
and
brand
it's
and
just
everything.
it's fun. It's not stressful. I don't
Right.
have to kill myself training for these
Right.
competitions, and I don't have a coach right now. I left Big Dogs, and so me and Colton I'm kind of doing my old programming because I loved it so much, and we're just
What are some of your like best lifts on, let's say, like a snatch or a squat or
so what I'm good at,
yeah,
conditioning. I'm not very strong. I look like, if I like walk in somewhere, people are like, damn, I bet you're super strong. I'm really not. For like my weight and muscle mass I have, I'm not very strong.
Okay.
In the competitive range. Like,
right.
In your
Again, versus other.
Stronger than me.
Like,
yeah, but.
Sorry, Ray. You're going to have to get in the gym a little bit more.
Hey, you guys are inspiring me.
Good.
I'm on the tech side, you know? You guys are really passionate about fitness.
But you could be doing like finger and forearm curls, be hitting them buttons a lot faster, dog. I mean, you be getting that.
I know. I'll get it.
Way faster.
I know.
So, but so you're good at the conditioning type stuff, and that's going to be your burpees and the box jumps and the running events and hill climbs and that type of stuff. I
like to say I'm a little bit better mediocre at everything.
Okay,
so,
good across the board.
Which makes pretty good CrossFitter. Like, you have to be good at everything.
Yeah, you can't be super shitty at one thing unless you're not going to end up doing
so I can hold my own with everything.
That's
but
good.
I don't have like one thing that I just like shine at.
Okay. What's your favorite lift?
Snatch.
Snatch? Okay. What's your best number on that?
190.
Well, that's pretty damn good. 200 is probably more than I can do. So moving on here.
Your overhead squat's only 135.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's kind of weak, but that's okay. I'm a bodybuilder.
You don't have to be good at it.
I know. What's your favorite event?
In CrossFit?
Yeah, like
oh man, I don't know.
Would it be something like when you guys go down with
movements, like what I like double unders and wall balls and
burpees
and rowing.
Okay. So kind of the traditional type stuff.
Yes.
What was that last one?
Devil's press.
What the hell is that?
It's like a dumbbell burpee kettlebell swing.
Okay. That sounds intense. I'm going to avoid that one too. What's your least favorite event? Or exercises?
Anything strict, because I'm heavy.
Okay.
I'm large.
Like strict pull-ups and that sort of thing.
So like a strict ring muscle up, girl can't do more than I'm doing singles. Okay. Strict handstand push-ups, not my thing. It's a long way to put 160
And what would,
pounds.
like, for comparison, what would a pro, like a girl that's in the top 10 of the CrossFit games? So
they're doing like deficit strict handstand push-ups. So their hands are like on plates.
Like up here. Wow.
Yeah, and they're doing strict and
wow.
No.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Very good for them. That's awesome.
That's good for them.
Now, moving on to maybe a little bit more of a controversial topic. What about PEDs in CrossFit? A lot of people think, well, here's the thing is CrossFit, the brand, they say up and down, all of our athletes are tested. Nobody's using stuff, blah, 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 blah. If you go there and you see the numbers and the weights that the men and women are lifting, it's very hard to believe. And I wanted to get your opinion. Let's just kind of openly talk about it a little bit.
So, again, this is an opinion before everyone gets keyboard warriors.
Yeah, let's relax, guys.
Just relax.
This is open conversation here.
Don't freak out.
Yeah.
In my opinion, there are some, I'm sure, maybe the one freak athlete that maybe is not doing any enhancement. I'm sorry, your top 20 athletes are not all clean.
Correct.
They're just, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
The body doesn't look like that, and the body doesn't perform that way. I don't care how long you've been training.
And it's not only the size and the look, but what about the stuff they do and the fact that they can recover from that so quickly?
So I was just about to say, so last year at the games, the first event, or the first, just day one, you maxed out I think it's 3 or 4 lifts. Don't get mad. 3 or 4 lifts. So it's like, it was back squat, deadlift, strict press, I think. Maxed out.
Like your top
number. Your absolute max, going all out. I think there was one more event. And then the last event was a marathon row, which is like, can you look up how long a marathon row is? Yeah. Just so.
Sure, for sure. Let me check.
I think it's like 60.
Is it?
It's
everybody has their. Is it marathon row on the
yes,
on the rower?
On the Concept 2 rower. So you're
rower,
sitting in this like hunched over rowing. I think it's almost 4 hours. It was like 3.5 to 4 hour row.
Are you serious?
Yes, that's how.
I'm actually a little bit shocked. That's a long time and sounds.
Showing me more distance. I think
that sounds super uncomfortable.
Yes, but how long it takes average is about 3 hours, 3.5 hours.
And that's after they do all the max lifts.
Yes. And that's only day one.
Yeah.
And then
it says if you can maintain an average pace of 2:05, you can complete a marathon in less than 3 hours.
So 205 is pretty rough to maintain. I mean, that's maybe a high level male.
The 2018 games, it ended up being 42,195 meters in a time cap of 4 hours. So that means if you're getting on 3 hours 59 minutes,
and so then they were interviewing people the next day, and almost all of them were like, "I feel refreshed."
There's not a chance.
Yeah, right.
Not a chance.
No, I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care who you are. They're not. We're not rowers. We don't row every single day to prep for a marathon.
Correct.
There's no way that's not going to wreck you.
Yeah.
I'm
just absolute annihilation.
Between 3 and 4 hours straight.
I feel like my lumbar, my lower back, and then probably
my hip flexors.
Wouldn't the skin in your hands just be like raw too? I know
would,
you guys do a lot of that stuff, so you already have tough hands, but
I mean, that's like doing air squats because you're just going in and out on your hip flexor for 3.5 hours, and then you're telling me you're waking up refreshed.
Lies.
Impossible.
It's not. It's just
that's fake news.
Refreshed? You better be in first if you're refreshed.
So I do always want to talk about this too. Is steroids and other stuff, enhancements, they don't create an athlete.
Absolutely not. Sure don't. It doesn't take away from the hard work and what they accomplish.
It does not take away. No.
Yeah.
But it does give a small advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, like, I hate people that think that it creates the athlete.
It doesn't.
Because it's not.
It doesn't. Not at all. And it's the same in bodybuilding.
Yeah, exactly. You still have to put in the work and the time. It's just your recovery is going to be a little bit quicker, and you're probably going to get a little bit stronger, and you're obviously going to look like a brick house.
Of course. And I mean, for them, it's like you kind of have to have a level playing field if you're going to be at that level and you want to be a pro and you want to win. I'm sure a lot of the people are like, well, I kind of have to.
Well, yeah, and what you said is recovery. I mean, I feel like that's really what it comes down to, because you can be the strongest and the fastest, but if your body feels wrecked, you're not performing the way you need to.
What do you think about the claims that CrossFit says everybody's tested? I have a particular opinion on that.
I think that if they were to bust their top athletes, there would be no CrossFit.
Correct.
So I don't think they get tested.
I think that they bust random Joe Blows every now and then. I've looked into it because I've been curious on the topic.
Well, this year they busted a big one. They've busted a few big ones that where everyone was like, "Oh, dang!"
Yeah,
but only a few, but none of the top.
Are they testing for everything though? Like, do you know?
Oh, supposedly. So the people that they have busted, she said she got it from GNC. So they're testing for, and I'm not 100% sure, but obviously she didn't. But they're saying that, everything.
Yeah, they're going to be testing for testosterone. They're probably going to be testing for stimulants, like maybe even things like Adderall and Clen and that sort of thing. I'm sure those are probably banned. But there's ways around tests depending on, whatever it is they're using. There's a certain amount of time that certain compounds stay in your system.
Right.
And there are ways around it. So I think it's a combination of that.
Or they just kind of give them a heads up.
They give them a heads up. They want to protect their big dogs, and then they do set the occasional example, and get on some asses. So, but it's 100%. It's the same in bodybuilding. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like there's no steroids in bodybuilding. Literally, like in the NPC and the IFBB. I mean, it's just there. A lot of people don't necessarily talk about it. It's kind of a hush hush subject, but it's there. And it is what it is. And I mean, of course, with anything in life, there's a smart way and a stupid way to go about things. And you don't know the person, you don't know the goals. And again, what Taylor said though is it doesn't change the work. It doesn't change the person and what they did.
Again, I always like to preach that I'm not taking away from the athlete, but don't sit there on your high horse and also claim CrossFit's clean and we just work hard and hard work pays off no matter what. It's
don't claim it.
Stop.
That's like the bodybuilders that claim I'm natural. I'm like, bro. Like 250 pounds shredded on stage. Like, yeah, natty dog. Zumba.
He's like 5'3".
Yoga. Yeah. I'm like, dog, come on, just be honest. I mean, but it's you understand. It's just it's a hot button. That's why I wanted to talk about it. It's a hot button subject.
Yeah.
I'm sure some people are gonna leave some either hatred comments or hopefully positive comments. But hopefully maybe people are supportive that we're trying to like openly talk about it. That sort of thing. So.
And no, I don't ever think CrossFit's gonna be like, okay, we're all on it.
Yeah, and of course, bodybuilding's not either. Yeah.
But there's some that sit there and just dog that their sport's clean and don't compete against me if you're on stuff and you're a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. Like,
yeah,
no, just
it's a decision.
Yeah,
Like there's a lot of the natural bodybuilding people and federations that just hate on people that use it or whatever, and just it is what it is,
and that's why I got out.
Yeah,
it's not worth it. To me.
Correct. Yeah,
it's not the time and the energy and the amounts of what you have to put in to get there. I commend people that do it. I don't got it.
Correct.
I got to make money. I want to have a good, like, it just.
If you're trying to get to a certain level and you're having to take copious amounts of exogenous things in amounts, you're probably not necessarily meant to do that. If you're getting to a certain level on a certain thing and you want to level the playing field, maybe a little bit of this or a little of that, that's maybe a little bit of a different story.
People use like EPOs and stuff. Yeah.
So definitely a touchy subject. I appreciate you being open and honest about it. And, Ray, we'll make the final call later on actually if we want to keep this in or not.
Yeah. Hey, maybe we just let it rock.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. But now, have you ever had to deal with injuries in CrossFit?
I actually haven't. I've only had one little naggy thing. I have a very overmobile shoulder and very mobile. What's the stuff around your ribs?
Your serratus?
My ribs move easy.
Okay.
So my ribs move a lot when I'm in a front rack position.
Okay.
And so if I catch a barbell from a jerk and I come down, my ribs will shift. And so that's literally the only thing.
A little bit painful?
Yeah, it's really painful.
Okay. But Colton, on the other hand, your boyfriend and your gym owner partner.
He had an old herniated disc from football, and then I can't ever say it. Herniated another disc training for the Open.
It was for CrossFit. Yeah.
The boy is strong though.
He's definitely strong. But do you feel that there's versus other sports or physical activity, you think the injury risk is a little higher in CrossFit?
Yes, but not because of the athlete, because of the coach. I firmly, but it sucks and it's boring and annoying, but warm-ups for lifting at your 80 to 90% have to be there. Yeah. And long, and especially for someone like Colton who's naturally tight, he's always tight and stuff like that. I can warm up in 10 minutes and my 80% isn't that heavy.
Right.
Him. And so when you're on a team atmosphere or whatever, that's why individual programming, I am so big on individual than whatever group programming for competitive athletes. If he would have warmed up and been taking care of his body, it might have eventually happened maybe one day, but it wouldn't have happened the way it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. The recovery aspect it's pretty important. You got to take care of the body, especially if something is.
It's time consuming.
It is. It literally turns into a second workout. I mean, for me, I'm 20 minutes before I even start lifting weight, but you got to think the longevity.
Yep.
So, all right, moving on here. Now, didn't have to deal with any injuries. That's good. Now, last topic here before we move on to our rapid fire round. You do have a pretty big, large following on social media. You have 60 or 70,000 followers.
Almost to 70.
Almost 70. That's pretty impressive. That's cool.
Legit. That's legit.
Now, do you get members in your gym or clothing sales from social media?
Yes.
Yeah. What percentage of you say would your new gym signups be from social media out of whatever in a year?
For the gym, 90%.
Really? That high? The power of social media. 70,000 followers and 90% coming from that. I was thinking about this
on the way over here.
That's interesting.
It's a blessing and it's a curse.
So, yeah, how active do you have to be?
For my clothing, it's 100%.
100% of the sales.
My online coaching, 100%.
100%.
Wow.
So, it's scary to me because if one day, whatever, an Instagram, it could easily just shut down one day.
Well, do you remember? I think it was a month or two ago. I think Instagram and Facebook on the same day had problems. Some people were making memes about it or something. It was just like that, from influencer to nobody.
Yeah, but it's a scary
that's kind of
thing,
the reality.
That's why they sometimes say to kind of build your own platform, maybe through a website or?
Oh yeah, I've had a meeting with I forgot whatever talking about things to avoid. Then they were like, get a website and a newsletter
Exactly.
and
That's
collect
what I was
people's emails. So then if Instagram goes haywire,
You
can
still
at
have their
least-
contact info.
Yes.
Yes,
Gotta have
it's
that on
your
the website.
you have their contact info and you own that data.
Right.
When you're on social media like that, they technically own your data.
Do you ever get tired of having 70,000 followers? People, the
Oh,
followers and
I can't imagine people who have like a million.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they have someone running their Instagram,
yeah,
but happy
not
for
us, not us peons, right?
you. No, it is. It's a job, and
Mhm.
it's. I mean, I literally sometimes feel like my eyes are gonna fall out of my head, and I hate it. I hate having to be on my phone all the time. I really do, and everyone always kind of picks at me and like, oh, you're always on your phone. I'm like, this is literally my job.
That's I've
And
had that
it's-
conversation with my fiance, and it's not. She wasn't. I mean, she's just like, well, you're. She wasn't being hard on me. She
Right.
just made
No,
the
same
comment.
as-
It's like I know, but honestly, this is like a lot of. It's like a work.
Yeah,
Right?
me and Colton first got together. I had to explain that to him. I'm like, I'm not talking to like friends and,
We're not playing Snake.
Like
People
cat
still remember what
photos.
Snake is on Nokia.
Yeah,
We're not sending cat memes to each
yeah, I
other.
mean, only sometimes.
Do you ever get odd messages? Having 70,000 followers and being
dick pics. I'm just kidding.
no.
No,
dick
I
pics?
don't. I don't know if it's
Interesting.
because
I thought-
I'm an
I thought-
asshole
yeah.
or because I don't.
Guys are scared
I guess, or I don't.
because you
I
have
don't.
tats, maybe.
I don't know. I don't show my booty hole on
Uh-huh.
Instagram, so maybe
Yeah.
I don't invite the dick pics.
That's probably a key indicator of getting a dick pic is if you're putting your booty hole
Yeah,
on there. If you're throwing the balloon knot up there, there's a good chance somebody's gonna be sliding into DMs.
slide into DMs.
So, what's the weirdest message maybe you've gotten?
Oh, I don't. And they're probably never. I had a guy ask if he could be my pen pal, and that I would save his. He was like,
Well, I don't know why I find that's a fucking pen pal.
on direct message, he asked to be pen pals, and that he was sick and dying, and that it would make him live longer. And it's just.
So you guys pen pals?
Realistically,
So I
he
wrote
was
him a
like,
letter.
he was,
wrote him
he was
a letter.
probably like a 13-year-old kid in Iowa or something random.
Yeah.
More than likely. More than likely. Do a lot of people approach you in public and say, "Hey, you're Taylor from social media"?
Not a ton, but it used to like make me really uncomfortable, and now I love it. I think it's really neat.
People follow you because they like you, and that's the thing.
Yeah, it's fun now.
Yeah.
Before it was a little bit, I didn't know what to do, but now I get excited. I'm like, awesome.
It makes you
know.
feel pretty good, right?
Yeah.
We went to Dubai for the Fit Expo a couple years ago, and I had no idea, but apparently I'm pretty popular in like Pakistan or in India. And I literally had no idea. And we were at the show, and then all of a sudden I got mobbed by a group of like 30 young guys, and they're, Jonny, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And then so we're leaving, we're in the airport in Dubai, and it's like, I think it was like a really early flight or a really late flight. So the airport was basically empty. Like when we first got there, the airport was still closed. We had to like sit there for a while. So we're walking through this long security line. It gets weaving back and forth, and there's nobody in the line. So we're walking through, and there's 4 of us, and we go up, and there's 2 guys standing there in their security uniforms. We just hand them our passports and everything. Kind of looking, okay, yeah, here you go. Look at mine. Jonny. Jonny from Six-Pack. No way. And the guys, full security uniforms, and I took pictures with them. And honestly, it was super cool. Dubai was an amazing experience. All the people I met, the being mobbed by the kids, like I liked it. It was cool. I'll admit it. It was cool having like feeling, and I'm not famous, nowhere near it. I might be like F-lifts famous. And it felt cool having the little kids come up and say, know who you are. So I can imagine that having the interaction with somebody it feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Especially for you being involved in health and fitness, and you help people. You help people lose weight.
Yeah, it's I have to remind myself that, because sometimes, so social media sometimes will make you, or not social media, but when you get off of it, you sit there and you're like, no one fucking cares. No one cares what I have to say.
I think about that all the time.
No one cares about
You put
my
out this
past.
huge post out, takes 20, 30 minutes, and you post it, and you're just like,
That was dumb.
that was dumb.
But then you get messages or comments, and you're like, that really helped me today. It's like, that was worth it.
One of the kids who saw me in Dubai, he took a picture with me. He messaged me. This was in 2016. He messaged me about a month or two ago and showed me a picture of him now. And he's like, he's gained muscle.
I saw
I posted
that. Yeah.
about it. And he's like, I've gained muscle. And you were, out of all the people I met, you were the only person that took time to talk to me and explain to me what to do. And I've done it and I've built this muscle. And I just want to thank you. And
that's awesome.
I almost cried. Like literally, it was cool. It was cool. I was super, super
cry
happy.
often by myself. I cry.
It happens.
But
it happens.
It does. It's very humbling that to be part of someone's life. Like you change their life.
Would you say you've probably had the biggest, most dramatic transformation coaching somebody in a group before, like when you're doing it like Camp Gladiator, or now it's like your own gym?
No.
Really?
The group I have now, I mean, I could probably cry talking about it. I've had them they followed me from Camp Gladiator. So I've had them almost 3 years. So these are people that I can go home and call, and if I need a favor or I need to talk to someone, and these
it does turn into that.
It really does.
Yeah.
And they've all been so loyal and understanding of, we had to move gyms, guys. It's smaller. Are you going to be okay? It's a little bit hotter. Oh, wherever you go, we go. Mm-hmm. And it's just like,
that's awesome.
It is.
Very cool.
It's awesome. They're awesome people.
I appreciate you giving us an insight into what it takes to create and start a gym. That's cool. Sure. Let's move on to the rapid fire round, Ray.
Just before that, I noticed you had a question on here about pups.
Oh yeah, the pups.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot to ask.
Yeah.
So you do have some beautiful pups, and we're here at Six Pack Abs. We are dog lovers. We are very puppy friendly. Actually, if you go outside this door into the office right now, you might find probably like 4 or 5 dogs. But yeah, she's got 2 pups, Meaty and
Meatball and Rue.
And Rue is a little older. She's
7 or 8.
And Meaty is a young guy.
Yeah, he's 2.
He is hilarious. So Meaty is what kind of?
He's an old English bully.
Old English bully. So
nice.
So at the gym, there's no air conditioning, and we just have these gigantic fans, like industrial fans. And this little guy literally will just walk over there. He'll run around and say what's up to everybody and get a belly rub, and then he runs right over the fan and just stands right in front of it. And then they got the baby pool with the ice cubes in it, and that was hilarious.
He will lay in ice like a polar bear. Like he lays
in it,
ball sack to ice, and just lays out.
It's the cutest
and
thing.
He eats it and he loves it.
That's awesome.
And he will shred a water bottle in no time. But if you go on Taylor's social media, you can see she uploads a lot of videos to the story of the pups. We are such dog lovers here. I had to talk about it. Thanks for reminding me. Rapid fire round. You ready to go?
There it is.
Rapid fire round. All right, Miss Taylor, we're gonna give you.
What is this?
Rapid fire round. Yeah, no, I know. That's how we do the rapid fire round. Just comes on you just like an STD. You know what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started here on the rapid fire round. First answer that comes to your head, I just want you to say. We're gonna move along. All right, you ready? Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite movie?
Gone in 60 Seconds.
Favorite food?
Pasta.
Favorite song currently on your playlist?
Nightmare.
Favorite motivational figure?
Johnny.
Shut the fuck up. Favorite supplement?
Eggs Endurance.
Favorite exercise?
Snatch.
Favorite car?
Forerunner.
Favorite place you've traveled?
California.
Least favorite place you've traveled?
Waco.
Does it feel good to be stronger than a lot of men?
Yes.
Favorite place to eat in Austin?
Bird biscuit.
Oh, nice choice. And where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In Colorado.
Nice. Good choice. Taylor, thank you so much for coming in today. That was our rapid fire round.
I just want to tell you that all those answers weren't true. So I don't know. You said I had to answer the first thing that came to my head. But what's weird is I don't ever eat pasta, and my favorite color is actually black.
Okay.
Isn't that weird?
That's a little weird. So I guess you did follow the rules.
I followed the rules, but all those were actually.
Okay. But the song and the
all those are
supplement?
right. But
okay.
The food. No.
So what's the favorite food then?
Sushi.
Sushi.
And my favorite color is black.
Black.
But I don't even.
Now, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
It's blue. That's why I said it. I still want to be in Colorado. I've actually never been there. I've never even been in snow.
Okay.
But you want to move there?
But you want to just
I feel like you would
jump in head
I feel
first?
like Colorado's awesome.
It's pretty cool. It gets cold there. I've been there quite a few times.
I have a lot of jackets I never get to wear.
You just said you hate the
Don't
cold
you hate
of it.
when you buy a good solid jacket that like looks good on you? Because we live in Austin, it's like, yeah, I get to wear this one time.
Do you find jackets that fit you?
Yeah, I do, but they're usually like extra large for sure. I do.
Tied up here and big down
Little
there.
tight, yeah, they're a little balloony. Sometimes I have to get them tailored to be brought in.
Yeah.
So, but that's just part of the gangster life. All right, Taylor. Now, how we talked about this a little bit earlier, but how can people get in touch with you?
My website, which we recently just revamped, and I'm pretty proud of it, TaylorDayneLoyd.com.
Okay.
My Instagram is TDL_does_life.
Okay.
And you can find everything else connected to me through the
Through those two
TDL
outlets.
Does Life. Yeah.
Perfect. I want to say thank you so much for coming in today. Been a pleasure. I do appreciate obviously giving all the information and on how to start a gym. One of the big reasons is because some of you out there might have aspirations to start a gym at some point. And
So can I touch on that
Go,
really
let's go.
fast?
Let's go.
Since people always ask me about what my biggest advice is
Let's
to
go.
opening a gym. So my biggest advice, if your aspirations are to open a gym, is to create some sort of following for up to a year.
Mm-hmm.
I would never tell someone that has never that's only trained a few people or doesn't have anyone to open a gym.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a membership for a year, you're going to be so upside down, it's not even funny.
You're just going to be basically paying the overhead for the gym and the equipment and everything and not have
Yes.
any other income coming
So
in.
before that, I would rent space, be an online coach, create an online presence, have a website, and train people, and talk about yourself for like a year.
Yeah. Be successful with that. Build a client
Yes.
base.
And bring them there.
Before you just open a gym.
Yeah.
And I think
I think
that's
valuable advice.
That
Makes a
is
lot of
something
sense.
that me and Colton had, that a lot of gyms that closed down, like, well, we didn't really coach people before. I'm like, then how do you think people are going to come to your gym?
Right.
That would be my biggest thing.
That's awesome.
And
That's
if you're
valuable
somewhere
advice.
where rent's not expensive, get somewhere that has a lot of drive-by.
Get it in the hood. All right. Now for podcast episode number 3 here at the Six Pack Lab, Ms. Taylor, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
I hope we had a little bit of fun today. We got to talk about some cool articles. We gotta eat more You gotta eat more flavonoids.
I gotta eat more flavonoids.
You gotta get more flavonoids. We learned about the gym. We learned about your clothing business. Very, very exciting stuff. And I hope you end up in Colorado.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, guys. For the Six Pack Lab, stay tuned. Make sure and comment below if you have any questions. If you have any ideas for some guests that you might like to see here on the Six Pack Lab, make sure and subscribe to us and turn your notifications on. That way you're notified when we release these every Thursday here at Six Pack Abs. Coach Jonny, have a great day.